Hi, hello, this is Jules the Human here, and welcome to the Jules and Anime Hour. I'm one of your hosts, Jules the Human, and every week we go out into the world and watch a little bit of anime, and then we come back here to talk about it. And today we are finishing our watch through and talking about the final episodes of the anime Erased. We're going to finish Erased today, talk about all of our stuff, everything we thought about it, and we're going to rank it on our board today, and it's going to get a final ranking you have attributed to where the ranking sits for these episodes in season 2. And then after that, we're going to pick a brand new anime. So next week, we're going to watch something brand new. We haven't seen them before, and it's going to be one of these. So all of these anime are either submitted by me or Matt, but also by the viewers here at home. All of y'all have submitted some anime to watch, and you can do that with a $5 super chat on YouTube or 500 bits on Twitch. I'm ready to get into it, and I do not go into these anime journeys alone. I am joined by my co-host, Matt Galley. Matt, you're still here. You aren't erased.
I'm not erased. This show did not erase my will to exist. Oh boy. Yeah, I'm super ready to get into it too. We, got a lot to talk about. Our final thoughts. We gotta rate it. We gotta pick a new anime. We got a lot of stuff to get into here.
Oh man. I don't know if I want to. Yeah. So there, well, because there's a lot to say about this one. I did not expect this one to hold my attention as much as it did, and it just was just a pleasant surprise. I mean, I've heard a lot of people talking about how much they like this anime. A lot of people recommend it. It's in people's top, but then like when I hear that, I'm just like, okay. And then I see the cover art, I'm like, okay, that's cool, whatever. And I never actually picked it up, and now I'm just I'm a different person on the other end, and it's really cool. Hello everybody watching live on Twitch or YouTube. Hello Cosmo, bro. They announced a new Apex character. She looks pretty cool. And hello Caitlin. Appreciate you on YouTube and Twitch. Let's get into it. We got a long way to go. A lot to talk about. Episode 9 of Erased Closure. What happened in episode 9?
Episode 9. Hinazuki's mother is caught red-handed and brought and then her own mother is brought out to convince her to part ways with Hinazuki. Hinazuki thanks Satoru, who thanks Yasuhiro for intervening. Satoru continues to make sure the other two victims don't have repeats of their fates, then tailing Nakanishi to learn her schedule. Yasuhiro happens by Satoru and Sachiko and gives them a ride home. Satoru asking him for advice on how to befriend new people, and then also discovering his candy stash. Satoru reveals to Hiromi and Kenya the real reason he's been trying to befriend people who seem alone, and his friends choose to believe in him, even though it seems like a wild story.
Oh man. A lot in this episode. Hello Claire. Thanks for bringing all the hugs. And Cosmo says Saint Seiya or Speed Racer is my anime nomination as a throwback choice. You can nominate this anime and put it into the chest with 500 bits. That goes into our chest and goes to me and Matt if you would like. So we got to talk about her mother, because now after this episode, it kind of goes towards the point, because I really did think she had some play into this at some point. I thought maybe I didn't leave it out of the question. I didn't think for sure she was part of it, but I didn't say that she wasn't. But we actually find out that she just really dislikes being a parent, but it's also because of all this other stuff. How did you feel about the characterization of the mother now? How her grandmother or her mother just didn't really show up for her in a time of need, I suppose. And it kind of she was a victim of abuse from her ex-husband, and her mother wasn't there and all this stuff. So it's like kind of a coming down the pipeline to her own child, where she just hates how hard it is, and she's taking out all her anger on that. How did you feel about the characterization of the mom at the end? Because I think this is the last big scene for her.
Basically, yeah, she's essentially out of the story from this point forward. But I mean, like his mother says as well, it draws some part of humanity into her character, at least, because at one point she probably really did like being a mother. Like, and it was probably a very complex chain of events that led to her becoming the way that she was. Like, she probably wasn't always that in a state of mistreating Hinazuki. But it's like, it's one of those things where I don't think it like necessarily redeems the character. It's
No.
those things where it's like, it just draws sense to her actions, and then like it was never like her mother that was the murderer. The mother never went on a killing spree, so to speak. It's not
Doesn't mean she's not bad.
it doesn't mean that she's redeemed, but like, she's a character, and this is like the reason that she was doing the things that she was doing, because that's a big thing that we started talking about last episode, is like, why would certain people want to do the things that the culprit, the murderer, is doing. So it at least draws that line where it's like, there would be no reason where she would want to like outright kill her kid, but there's definitely a reason why she was like, taking her pain and kind of projecting it out onto her child.
Definitely agree. One thing that I didn't really want to happen, which I'm just kind of thinking broadly, I didn't like how much humanity was put into her, because I don't want a viewer to be like, think that she's redeemed. You know what I mean? Like, I felt like it was teetering that line where somebody, not me, but somebody could look at that and be like, oh, well, it's okay. And like, no, I didn't want them to cross into that bound. So I was kind of apprehensive about how this whole scene played out, where some people may think like, oh, well, it's understandable. I feel sorry for the mom. No.
Yeah.
I mean, you can feel sorry for the mom, but also she still did something really bad.
Yeah. And that's why I think that Satoru has a line where he says like, those are tears of self-pity.
Sure.
That's kind of, the narrative letting the audience in on that, more than she doesn't feel bad for what she's done. She feels bad for herself. Like, that's why she's crying. That's what this moment is about. It's about her being able to let go of Hinazuki because she feels so bad for herself and realizing what she's become, probably, but not, oh, it's woe is me. It is, oh, woe is me, and not, oh, look what I've done,
for sure.
And I think that the fact that Hinazuki, continues to look away, divert her vision the entire time, is telling as well.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like the victim has not forgiven the abuser in that situation.
Going forward into the story, we see a note here that I wrote, because at this time we still don't know who the killer is. At this time of watching in this episode 9, and I wrote down a note that the teacher asked where they hid her, and he got that information from what's his name, Satoru. And I was like, that sounded fine, but like, and he gave him the information, but like, eyes, right? And now we're on Aya watch. So now we still have other girls to look after. We've spent 9 episodes looking after this one girl. And it's like, oh shit, we still got 2 more to go. So now we're trying to figure out the plan for that. And as the ride home, the teacher just has a bunch of lollipops.
Yeah.
And it is just
has a bunch of candy.
I mean, it made sense to me, but it was still super sketchy, because kids love lollipops, but he's like, I need something to do. And I'm like, okay, sure. And that could be another red herring. And I was like, okay, fine. Maybe.
But like, it was that I felt like that moment should have been placed so much earlier in the story.
Sure.
Like, I feel like it's a very late, like, red herring to attempt to plant. And it's more like just right now we're in the big reveal moments of this narrative as a whole. And to me, it's like, that's just the sign, the killer's been closer than we thought the whole time.
Yeah. And at this point, I mean, we see him a bunch, and I'm just like, okay. I mean, I think they're preparing for it, and I'm okay with it. So I was fine. I mean, I was fine with it this late in the game. I didn't have any problem with it. I don't know. But
when Satoru asked if he was single, I thought Satoru was going to try to potentially set up his mom and teacher and Yasuhiro. I thought he was going to make some line that was going to like have some sort of awkward romantic tension happen between the two of them. But yeah, then I start remembering that like in the future in 2006, how the mom, like, it was somebody that she knew from the past was the killer and stuff. So then it's
Mhm.
just like the more time that goes on, I'm just like, he's the guy. He's the guy.
Yeah,
I've questioned this man's since the start, and I started to feel like, the show was just giving me too many signs and I was going crazy.
giving it
But
to you. Yeah. Episode 10, Joy. What happened in episode 10 of Erased?
Nakanishi is approached by Satoru and the rest of the group, immediately identifying them as the kids with the hideout. She manages to poke fun at all of them subtly, but also gets invited to come to their hideout if she wants to see it for herself, which she later does. Satoru begins to wonder if everything is really over now that he has saved all three of the victims, but the killer is still out there and he continues to try to prevent future disaster. Now, noticing that Misato has been lonely ever since the money incident, Satoru is cornered by Yasuhiro after asking him for help in what appeared to be Misato's abduction. Satoru calls out to Yasuhiro during his attempted murder that he knows Yasuhiro's future.
Whoo! Here it
Joy's in the
is.
building!
It was him this whole time. So we have Aya, this character that we kind of see how she's just. I really like her character because she's just smarter than the boys, and she plays piano, and she seems to just be smarter for her age than everybody else, and even smarter than Satoru a little bit in the way he's acting right now as a kid, and it's just
Mhm.
really funny. I like her as a character, and I
What
really
are you
didn't
guys,
want her to get kidnapped.
superheroes? Don't make fun of superheroes!
Yeah,
Raise his
exactly.
fist.
What are you talking about, superheroes? What is his name? Action Man or something? I
Yeah.
forgot his name. It's like a Power Ranger
Literally
knockoff. He's
Action
like,
Man.
don't talk about him. And what does he say? Is it Kazu? Where he's like, it shows a man's resolve or something. He says something
A
silly.
hideout showcases a man's like desire for adventure.
He desire for an adventure. Yeah, something like that. I'm like,
And
bro, this
everybody
is
starts
so
blushing.
yeah,
He's like,
it's so good.
can he say that?
I love this silliness. I really enjoy these characters. It's a lot of fun. She makes fun of the hideout. Kazu wants to meet Aya. Misato is alone now, and oh man, it the tension in this episode when we know she didn't come out of the bathroom. We
Yeah.
saw her walk into the bathroom, and now the conviction in Yashiro's voice is like making me question as a human. I'm like, wait, did she
Yeah.
leave? Like he's just so cool, calm, and collected, the killer, and he's just like, no, she left. Like, what? She might have been out there, whatever. Oh, I can help you out. And it's so deceiving and it's so ugly, and I hate it. And all the little things where we have the gloves that he's there driving with, he has gloves on, he has the sticky seat belt, and it's building this tension. How did you feel in this moment,
No,
especially
yeah.
when they're in the car and you can feel it? It's just
The gloves were big. I was like, why is this man driving with like black gloves?
yeah.
What the heck? The seatbelt moment was, kind of a big tell. That's when I'm just like, yeah, he's getting death proofed right now. He's
Mhm.
literally, the passenger thinking that everything's fine. The whole idea of him having a bunch of dummy cars was kind of a little like overboard to me. I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
just like, now it's just, there was a few things. It felt like the big exposition dump that we got in like episode 6 or something like that, where I'm like, he's having his big villain reveal like monologue. I get it, but like, you've got several cars, you're ready to just drive into a lake to commit murder.
Kermit,
Like,
the Kermit
what's
murder.
but like, I'm here for the story, so sure, like, I'll bite for the sake of the
Uh-huh.
story, because it was still anxiety inducing. It's like, you'd hate to see, even though it's, the mind of a little kid in this, the mind of an adult in this little kid, it's just very uncomforting to see that power dynamic of like an adult, like, just
Sure.
with that type of a, yeah, power over the passenger
It's
being
it
a kid.
was it was unnerving for
It was
me.
palpable.
Yeah, it was
attention.
palpable. The time they took, I really enjoy the pacing in this anime a whole lot. They don't take too much time because that could have been a bloated scene, really, if they wanted to play it out a certain way. But like these scenes just kind of roll together, and Satoru is like in a rush. He's like, okay, well, I got to make the split decision. Like, yes, take me and do this. Let's do this. Whatever. Is that so and so's car? His friend or whatever. It's like, oh man, that's he's completely off the scent of this
Mhm.
guy that has been helping him since the beginning, and who has done decent deeds. I mean,
But it's all
everything.
been under the guise of
y- Yeah,
he's this kid is spoiling it, so I'm just going to pivot and go with the flow until there's another opportunity. And that's what
yeah,
he seems to be. He's just an opportunist that's looking for the right moment to set everything up so he can strike and follow through. And it was only because Satoru got 2 retries that this man's had his plans foiled. Like that's just also kind of just like you got you had an extra life, my guy, then you had
yeah,
extra life for your extra life, and that's great that everything got resolved. But oh boy, this man, it's he he's sly and he knows what he's doing, and
yeah,
he's very calculated, and that just it's that the dread that's been building up over the course of the anime of like who is it, where is he, what is he doing. I think it's a really good reveal, a really good payoff for the audience on that first time reveal. Especially, I don't know how that would feel on a rewatch, just because like again there's a couple things other than just his like just in this episode he had there's that shot where um he's staring at Misato, like as she like walked around down the hallway the other way, and he just
yeah.
like turns and like looks at her, and it just
Mhm.
lingers on the shot of him staring at her. I'm just like, it's if it's not him, I'm crazy. But like he does all the things that makes me want to not believe it's him. I will
Yeah,
say I'm glad it wasn't
Kenya,
I'm glad it wasn't Kenya, because
Kenya, the
like you said,
mom.
that would have made it the more like emotionally completely tears you up
Sure,
because it was
and
your best friend the whole time.
yeah, and it just makes more sense with
Yeah.
Yashiro as the killer. So Yashiro says that he's gonna leave town, and that Lisa, okay, that I know your future, from
Messiah.
Satoru, and it's just this wow, like this is how it's going down, and there's no way out. How do you get out of a seatbelt if you're like locked in? I don't even know. Like in my mind, I was like, how would I even like? Would you try and squeeze out? Like just kind of like do it a bunch and then squeeze out?
I
I
would
don't
I
know.
would I would hope there's a seatbelt cutter somewhere in the car.
Yeah, I guess I wouldn't think. I mean, I don't. In that moment, I mean, it is believable. Satoru is just in, going insane with like connecting all the dots, and he's just like, "What is going on? I'm the victim now. Here, what's going on?" And it's just like, wow. He goes into the ocean, goes into
Man,
the river.
if that seatbelt, I'm non on those.
No,
I'm non on that belt, man. I'm losing all my teeth before I I go down drowning, man. That
so
is not the way to
yeah,
go.
we finally get the killer. We finally get the big reveal, and we got the final 2 episodes of Erased. What happened in
Which
episode 11?
yeah,
Future.
like first of all, it's just crazy that we get the reveal in episode 10, and then I'm like, we still got 2 more episodes. Like that was just that was something. I mean, they definitely did something with it.
And it's
Oh,
like something completely I did not think about. I did not think they were going to end it this way. So crazy.
so episode 11, Yasuhiro retells a few stories in a cold opening before we see that 15 years have passed with Satoru in a coma. Sachiko would take care of him this entire time so that his body would remain healthy enough to reawaken. Satoru seems to have minor amnesia, not being able to recount everything leading up to his attempted moida. Old friends visit him, not bringing up anything major, possibly to Sachiko's request. Satoru would burst into tears upon seeing a grown Hinazuki, now a
Uh,
mother.
uh,
Hinazuki expresses guilt over Satoru losing so much of his time to his coma, but he explains how he believes his fate is his own to bear and no one else needs to feel responsible. Satoru wants his rehab doubled as he is later greeted by Yasuhiro, who takes him up to the roof for a conversation. Satoru revealing he has regained his memories.
This is the way to do a penultimate episode, bro. I am so hyped for the end here. We start off with Yashiro explaining, talking about, and I did look it up because I wanted more
I
information
did
about
too.
the story
Yep.
of the spider web
I
or
read
the
the whole
web.
thing.
Yeah, and it's a really cool thing. Like it's, I mean, not cool, but like a really interesting thing.
Yeah.
That's sort of based in Buddhism, sort
Yeah.
of, kind
I
of.
mean, it seems to be based in Buddhism, and it's this whole concept that there is always everybody has like the last chance. Everybody has the final straw, and once you kind of like, I guess the last straw is not condemning those that are in a worse spot than you. And
Or
so
choosing yourself over helping others.
yeah. Um, and because like this guy got like he's given one last chance because he didn't step on a little spider one day. So that's the whole thing. He didn't step on a spider, so he gets one last chance. But then he wanted to try to kick others off, and his last chance got snipped because that was it. So yeah, you get that story, and then you get the story of the hamsters and him being fascinated by the one that managed to survive being thrown into like a pot of wine.
Yeah, sort of like a Saw thing, kind of, but also I don't know how much that made sense about why he would kill. I think it makes like,
I mean, I think in the context of the story, it plants the reason why he would just want to unalive kids.
yeah,
It's
sure.
like over since he was little, he just had a fascination with snuffing the lives out of things. But it's when something is able to withstand an ordeal and not lose its life that he becomes fascinated, and that becomes his spice. Lisan Al Gaib.
Did you? Okay, here's the thing. Did you notice what happened in episode 11? This is the thing. In the intro of episode 11, when they do the intro song and the intro animations, Satoru is gone in
What? I
all of
didn't
it.
watch it.
In
They gave me the
all of
skip
it.
intro button, so I just hit skip intro.
Bro, in this
No
episode alone,
way! I didn't even notice.
only this
So I skipped
episode,
it. So
right after he gets unalive, he goes into the water. He says, I know your future. And then he drowns. So we think the next thing is Yashiro explaining himself. They do the intro, same intro. Satoru's not there. In the beginning, when the two come together, nothing. It's just the scene. And I'm like, we're like both like, wait, what? And then me and Kaylin were like, he got erased. That was the Leo point. That was the Leo point. The entire thing was the exact same. And I was like, oh my God, well, that's crazy. That's crazy to take your main character out of the intro. And all of the faces were not blacked out anymore. And it was, you can see all the different characters' faces. And you got to go back, episode 11, just watch the intro because it was crazy. We were just watching and it's just like, what? Where'd he go? You got erased.
dang it, Crunchyroll! Do not give me that skip intro button if it's something new, different.
That's the only one that I'm pretty sure it's the only one where he gets erased like that. I was like, insane. Really cool that they did that. Really love that. Satoru didn't die. He was in a coma for 15 years. And brother, oh, I love the mom so much.
MVP.
The mother
Probably
took care of
best
her.
character in the show. I think
Best character
resolved.
In like any anime. She is there. I've never seen her like question, get mad, like anything at all. She seems like the best human in the entire show.
Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about it. I love in episode 9 when the other mom comes swinging at her with a shovel, and she did not move an
Doesn't
inch. It
flinch.
was the kids that pushed and pulled, and that was the only reason she didn't like get a face full of shovel. And I'm glad she didn't, but that
No,
was hard that she didn't move, and she lets
bro.
herself just get like cut by it. I was just the
Coolest character.
resolve of this character. Yeah.
Oh. Oh, Claire says his mom is someone to aspire to. Yes. I
Yes.
mean, the words that they were saying as they were kind of explaining it, like his mother took care of him. At first I thought she was like going through just her life, like this is her life now without him, working at the grocery store, all this stuff. But then she comes home, takes care of him, moves his body 4 hours a day. Insane. To in the minuscule hope that this is gonna, resolve itself and he's gonna come out of it. And for 15 years, that's insane. And oh my god. Well, I mean, it also, goes to what Satoru is going through to get back his mom. And it's, kind of parallel where he's
Yeah,
going through this whole thing for her, and then she's going through this whole thing for him in this new life. And it's like
exactly.
kind of opposites and really nice. And I just really love that connection with them too, because I really love her as a character.
You
She's
feel
great.
their love, you don't hear their love.
No. And they show it in ways that are believable to a mother and son. I mean, we've seen stuff like this where, the mom knows everything. We see where they don't outwardly say it really, but they know in the actions that they give, like the mother always cooking for him and always like doing things for him and understanding. And it feels like she is just an open sounding board for him to say anything and she wouldn't flinch. You know what I mean? And I love that. I love that kind of connection. And it was
Yokai.
really cool to see. Yokai. Yeah, one last one at the
Yokai.
end. It was so good. Uh um Kaio got married. We get some characters. We get all the gang back as older people. They are here. They are for their friend. It's so cool, man. I really liked it. How do you feel about these side characters and his friends
No, yeah.
now being in this life, now being this life with him and sharing it with him
First
now
of
that he's
all,
back?
first of all, since coming back, it's just I love how the show acknowledges that it's like, he was an adult that went back. And so he was an adult's voice in a kid's body, but now we fast forwarded 15 years in that timeline. So now it's his kid's voice in his adult body, which I thought was just a really like just
Really cool.
narratively like fascinating touch. Just
Yeah.
that attention to detail is so cool. Um the payoff of getting to see his friends like older, ones that he didn't have before in the previous timeline, ones that previously lost their lives at 11, so now he's getting to see them as fully grown adults for the first time,
Mm-hmm.
having their own lives. And how he says that like and nobody else needs to feel responsible for him. I think that there's a part of him that just really can make peace with the fact that he's already technically lived to like see a certain age once, and he got a second chance to give other people like another chance at it. And so he got to lose 15 years in this timeline, but that's okay because his mother was taking care of him this whole time, so it gets to be just kind of like a fresh start anyways. I think that it's just insane to see how like how I there's like a certain like ending that I kind of wanted this that I thought that I wanted, but the ending that it is giving me is like just way more like satisfying
Mm-hmm.
for some reason.
And
No, it's
like when they showed up, I was just like, yes, rooting for him. Here we go. She found love. She has a kid now. Ugh. And I want to
and a
talk about
smile.
and a smile. And she's smiling. I love it. I want to talk about Satoru. I keep butchering his name. I don't know why. Satoru. And in this episode he gives a talk to Kumi, the girl that is having surgery, which plays into the ending now, towards the end in the last episode. But he's talking to Kumi about courage, and like during that moment, I'm just like, I want this dude to succeed so much, and I want it to work out so badly. And I know the 15 years is gone, but everything that's led up to him and him being a character, our main character, and somebody that we're seeing, through the eyes of, I just love him as a main character, man. I love that this is somebody that is somewhat relatable, that this is somebody that has these values and he is stepping up. And we don't see, sometimes we get by the end or during in the middle, we get characters that are main characters that are just like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what's going on. But he's just like a good person. And it's noticeable that this guy is just a really good character, and I really like him as a character. But in that moment where he's just casually talking about, what it means to have courage and trying to bring this kid a smile that he knows is in the hospital for a bad reason, but like, he's just trying to make. I just love it. I love him. I love the mom. Them two, my two favorite characters for sure, and him as a main character, really great. Yashihiro is now Nushinozo. He changed his name. He's a politician, and Yashiro takes him to the roof. The ultimate showdown here. Nobody around. It's just us two. And guess what? I got my memories back. Bitch. Of course, it's this guy. Here he is still for
I hate
some
that
reason.
face.
That
I hate that guy's
face. I want to punch his face. So now we get to the end, the finale, episode 12. What happens in Erased? Episode 12, Treasure.
Time steps back as we see Satoru and his friends recounting the situation as he reveals the killer to them. In the present, Yasuhiro presses Satoru over the fact he can't be convicted of crimes that he did not commit, let alone 15 years ago. Going back again, Sachiko is shown to know that Satoru has recovered his memories, affirming that he should take the bull by the horns as he always has. Back again in the present, Satoru flaunts his control of Yasuhiro over him, throwing himself off the building, only to be saved by Yasuhiro. In this world, the only person who knows the real you is me. Yasuhiro lets go of Satoru only to see he's fallen into another trap yet again. Seeing Satoru's land safely and then seeing his thread break. Satoru reflects on how he was only able to achieve this thanks to the time made up by his friends, and in this new timeline, Satoru returns to the spot with Katagiri coming up right on cue.
Oh, brother. The end. Just
I never stopped believing.
So yeah. So we kind of get this showdown of two minds, and it kind of reminds me of, what's it called, with Light and what's his name?
Death Note.
Death Note. Just like two guys, not on that level, but like these guys are just playing chess, and they are moves ahead of each other, and one's trying to get the advantage here. And he planned out Satoru's death. He planned out how he was going to frame him and all this stuff. And I'm like, fuck, dude, this guy knows what he's doing, and that sucks. And then we find more as they're talking here that I guess they are equal in the way they talk or in the way they plan this sort of stuff. But how Yasuhiro needs him. What did you think about the final explanation about he's the only one that knows the real him? He has his fascination now. He lost his fascination before of doing that to kids. He lost that thing inside of him. He kept him alive because he filled the hole inside of him. How weird, or what did you think about that explanation of why Yashiro's still here?
Yeah, I mean, it all makes sense narratively. I think all the pieces of that puzzle fit together, and it answers a lot of questions. Like a lot of questions get answered in these last two episodes. Like why would Yasuhiro do the things that he did? And I think it kind of gets wrapped up neatly in a bow with this whole like final back and forth that they have where so like Satoru says, like he in this timeline, he like because he's seen other timelines of this Yasuhiro, timelines that Yasuhiro will never know about. So literally, Satoru knows things about Yasuhiro that he doesn't know about himself. And it's that like idea of the fact that he's gotten so into this guy's head and under his skin that he's going to know his every move, his every step. He knew that he was going to check to see if he was on a call or a phone call with somebody, and that was going to be his big backup, his big plan. Like he knew, there's more examples to go in with, but it's just it just expertly brings it all full circle. And then you see the thread snapping off Yasuhiro, and it's just like a perfect, just symbolic way of ending his story. Where
Ugh.
it's like that was like maybe he saw his own thread one day and decided, I'm just gonna ride this as long as I could. Maybe he saw that his thread was always there when he never got caught for doing the things that he did. But in this moment, he has been caught, he has been cornered, and the one thread, the one thing that would connect him to the higher place, he has lost it.
Mm-hmm. And it makes sense that he knows everything. He knows how to get out of his situations. He knows how to plan. He knows he has backups on backups. He said he had so many cars. I think the car comment was to let us know that he's like, oh, he has this planned. Like you think you know how to plan it. He has a web of how every situation could play out, and these are the situations how to get out of it.
For me, I think it was more just like this teacher this teacher has a bunch of cars. I don't
Okay,
know.
yeah, that's true.
That was really where I was at for it.
They
But
they get paid better than American teachers, I guess. I don't know, to have multiple cars. But yeah, and the idea like of him knowing everything, and then this kid being able to outsmart him and be there with him on everything, and then at the end saying, I know your future, and that keeping him up at night, and that keeping him like, what does it mean, what that drive, as well as all the other stuff, like him, Satoru actually knowing who he is because he knew that side of him and nobody else does, and kind of, we see him like taking care of him, shaving Satoru's face and stuff. And it's kind of like this weird bond, and it's really ugly, and it's kind of
yeah,
weird. And it's like,
because he was the hamster standing on the rest of the dead bodies,
yes.
metaphorically in this case.
Hmm.
So he found his spice in the version of a child, where in in the OG timeline there was never that person, that child that kind of was able to thwart him step by step. So he never kind of had that fascination, because every hamster he kept tossing in the jar just kept drowning. So every time I find a hamster, I'm just going to toss one more in the jar. But then finally he found one that he could just hyper fixate on until he could find out what he meant. And then he's like, oh, that's what you want to know? Actually, I'm just going to throw myself off this building real
This
quick.
moment,
And that's
such,
why he jumps out to save him, because he's like, I
such
don't know yet. You need to tell me.
a baller move. This is so crazy to be like, I know this so hard that you need me, and I know this is what's keeping you alive. Me. I'm going to do this. I know you won't do all those threats that you've been saying because you would have done it before. You would have done it when I was in a coma for 15 years. But no, there's something keeping you alive, keeping me alive. And it's my knowledge that you don't know about. And he goes to the end and then he saves him. Insane craziness. I loved it. Arrested, attempted murder. We get a future again as well. Satoru becomes a manga artist. He has his little crew there that's working with him. And then I thought at this point, because the credits were rolling. And at this point, I thought this was a great anime. I was like, this is cool. I love it. You know, it would have been cool if we would have got some more of that, some kind of conclusion to one more thing. Irie just coming, I wanted something because she wasn't there. And I was like, everything else concluded great. I loved all this, tied into a bow. He's under the goddamn bridge. And then here she comes, being a silly little girl. And it's just great. I loved it. Irie there at the end, and then he cries, and it's beautiful. And man, this was cool. Um, that's how Erased ends. And here we are, the end. The end of Erased. Let us know your thoughts about the end of Erased. What do you think about the anime? Let us know in the live chats on Twitch or on YouTube, or I guess if you're on Twitter, watch it on Twitter. You can, I don't know,
Wherever
come over to
you
YouTube,
at.
youtube.com/JulesTheHuman, twitch.tv/JulesTheHuman.
And
We
then he
gotta rate
cries,
this
and then I
anime.
cry.
Kaylin says, and then he cries, and then I cry. It was so beautiful. What did you think? We gotta rate this anime. We rated on 3 different categories: on animation, storytelling, and vibes, and we put it up onto the board for season 2, and we put all of our thoughts together. We excluded you who voted, and we put them all together, and then we put it out in one final rating. Matt, what did you think, and where do you rate the animation?
Animation, I'm giving it an A. It had really good cinematography in combination with the art style, how good all the character designs were. It was great. I guess the only thing would just, I think it's just down to its setting, that it's not super fantastical, so it doesn't really get to do anything that's like really out there with the animation, but especially for how old this anime is, it holds up really good. Nothing on the, again, I really have a high benchmark with some of our animation S tiers, like Cabaneri of the Iron Fortress. I just always think back to how pristine some of those freaking shots looked, man. But right here, definitely giving this one an A for animation. Okay. Where are you going to put animation?
First, Claire says, "See, when I say something is good, this is what I mean." I put
good for you.
This is good.
This is only good.
Animation, I gave it an S, man. I really loved the way it looked. I hear you on you're saying that it wasn't the most fantastical setting. This was set in more real world, but I really did enjoy these moments when they have something not really moving, but it still has life, giving life to these characters in close-up shots as well. And just some of the lighting effects looked great. I really enjoyed it. I really liked looking at it. It's a really pretty anime for me. All the different sets, even though it was mainly done in snow, I really liked the way the characters' clothes moved, the way the characters moved. I really like that. So I'm giving it an S for animation. Storytelling, what would you give Erased?
I'm going to give Erased an A. I'm giving it an A for the storytelling because I think all the plot beats were really good and it all came together full circle. I made some of my complaints last episode with like some of the over exposition with some of the narrative beats and elements where it just felt like, oh, we got to get this info out there. So that was like really the big blemish on it, but overall, like it was like a very satisfying story that came to a very like good emotional like and thematic conclusion in my eyes. Like the uh the allegories are allegoring with this one.
Sure.
So that's where I'm at an A. Where are you gonna put it storytelling?
I'm giving it an S. I loved this anime, dude. I loved the story it told. I would say, man, as far as a 12 episode anime goes, this is one of the best ones that I've seen. I loved the ride that it gave me. I love that I didn't know who it was this entire time. I love that. It gave me just enough to stay interested, but not enough to where I knew what was going on. And I was along for the ride with these characters, and I'm so down. This is a great anime. I really loved it. I love the emotional roller coaster that they had me on. I really love the characters. It's great. So S tier on storytelling for me. Vibes, what would you put on the vibes for Erased?
I was really on the fence with this one for the vibes because, like, I did just really overall enjoy everything that this show had to offer. And I maybe think that it was just part of the fact that we've handled a lot of heavy drama anime
Sure.
recently, and that might have just been some of that souring me up, maybe.
Mhm.
My tear ducts are in are in a state of disrepair. That's all I gotta say. So I'm giving it an A on vibes, kind of under this, like, the idea that it handles a lot of heavy subject matter and themes that I don't know if, like, everybody would be able to jive with. But for me, it's like one of those things where this type of stuff is I like seeing the medium be able to explore more mature themes, stories that handle more nuance and more subtlety with their character writing and such, and that's exactly what this show gave. So I'm like on paper I'm giving it an A+, but like I was in that like S minus, like maybe pushing it range for vibes. Where are you gonna put the vibes ranking, Jules?
Vibes ranking for me is an S. It's an S all across the board. I love when the characters were silly. I love their personalities. I mean, when they're just a group of little kids and they're just a group that normally just hangs out together, I found each one's personality. I found each one's, sort of story in themselves. I grew to really enjoy these characters. I grew to enjoy their interactions together. I was happy in the moments they wanted me to be happy, and I was sad and I was emotional. And I really think this is now one of my favorite anime. This is one of my favorite anime series. It's so good. If somebody wants to watch a 12-episode anime, before I'd be like, okay, Madoka Magica is pretty crazy, pretty cool. I don't know. Check it out if you want something short. Now I think I'm going to be like, here's Erased. Here's an emotional thing and really shows you what animation can be while telling a really great story. And I think it's definitely up there for me. I really did like it. I
Yeah,
really enjoyed it.
I do think if I had somebody that was like trying to get into anime and they are more into like murder mysteries, like stuff along those lines, heavy dramatic stuff, which a lot of people are these days.
Mhm.
It's just I think it'd be an easy recommend for somebody to try getting into the medium to experience something that's similar to what they're used to, and what something that's going to be able to give them a story with, again, satisfying narrative beats that are like grounded but still has some element of that, the whole butterfly effect, time travel aspect of it just
Mhm.
leaves a lot of this room for the story to interpret things, for
Yeah,
narrative interpretation.
I don't even like that stuff, which is, yeah, I don't like mystery things, really. I don't like, those sort of storylines, but like here I was just hooked. I mean,
Mhm.
the whole going back in time thing, it wasn't over explained. It wasn't like something super confusing where maybe Tokyo Revengers could get kind of confusing if you were to continue watching, maybe. But like this was good cut, and it was tied with a ribbon at the end, and all storylines are great. And I'm happy at the end, and I'm happy where the characters are, even though some of these circumstances happened. It's just like he got his friends. The real race were the friends we made along the way, and I really loved all of these characters together, and I just really enjoyed this anime. Really good. Um,
But you and
mhm.
I aren't the only ones rating this anime.
What? So all of our ratings put together, me, you, and the audience, make this anime on the ratings an S. There were more
Woo!
S's than there were A's, and it is an S ranked anime. Where's the thing? Oh my god, that's crazy. Whoa. S ranked anime erased, and it's joining the likes of a few other anime here at the top. I had to put her, the mom there, adding to the S tiers of
Let's see
anime.
it.
Look at her. She's up there. It's so good. Love this anime, man. It's so good. I really enjoyed it. It was fun, but it was also a lot of emotions. So hopefully in the next anime, we are done. We're done with Erased S tier anime as written by the JulesTheHuman Anime Hour. But now we have to pick a brand new anime to watch now. So if you haven't been with us
boy.
before, we have an anime chest of a lot of anime that are submitted by you, the viewers, and me and Matt for some animes here, and you can do that by submitting a $5 super chat on YouTube or 500 bits on Twitch, and that'll go to me and Matt, and it'll get you an anime on this anime board and in the anime chest. There it is. Claire says, if I erased your memory, I could trick you into watching it. And true, I honestly wouldn't mind watching it again. I think it would still be fine. I wouldn't mind watching it again. But we have a lot of anime here. Easy Wrong to Pick Up Girls in the Dungeon, Call Me Can't Communicate, Summertime Rendering, Hell's Paradise, bunch of anime there. And what's the next anime we're watching?
Sarazanmai.
Sarazanmai. I think that was Kaylee.
Oh boy.
Kaylee. Sarazanmai. How do you
Only a
spell
season and a half later.
Sarazanmai. That's the anime. Episode 1 through 4 of Sarazanmai. I'm pretty sure you can find it on Crunchyroll. That's what we're watching next.
Woo!
That's the next anime that we're going to be watching.
How many episodes is Sarazanmai?
I don't know. I'll vamp while you look. But it was a lot of fun watching Erased, going through another anime with all of you. So make sure if you don't know how we do it, we watch them together. So me and Matt watch them. And if you haven't watched them, the anime, or if you have, you can watch it again. Watch 4 episodes at a time every week. Come back here. Give us your thoughts.
Except for this one, because it's only 11 episodes.
11 episodes.
Yeah. So 4 than 3, I think.
Sure. Yeah, why not? 4 than 3. 4 episodes. Watch episode 1 through 4 of Sarazanmai. It's right up there on the left here. Sarazanmai. I'll also post it in the Discord. It'll also be everywhere on the socials and stuff to watch that anime next. What's up?
Sorry, I need to get out of the Crunchyroll comments for the
Oh
series.
god. Is it fun? I don't even know. I have no clue.
So. Based on the comment I saw,
okay.
I mean, should I say it?
What's the comment?
I want that 12 out of 10 frog butts.
Frog butts?
Frog
I'm
butts.
in. Hell yeah, frog
That's
butts.
all I saw.
Another S tier anime incoming.
In the making.
Matt, when you're not looking at frog butts, where can they find you?
You could find me.
Gotta change it.
Yeah, gotta change it. You can find me on my YouTube at Matt Galley. Just at Matt Galley. Or on my socials at ITS Matt_Galley. Just at an ITS at the front. I'm trying to work on a dual stream so that way I could stream on YouTube and Twitch at the same time if that's something that's possible. But if not, we're just gonna be going live on YouTube. And I'm gonna try going live tomorrow.
Whoa!
Manor Lords.
Whoa! What time?
10 a.m. PST.
Whoa!
Psst.
10 a.m. tomorrow.
When we're not here, Sarazanmaiing with frog butts, where can the people find you?
You can find me on YouTube, youtube.com/JulesTheHuman/JULES the human on all the social media as well. Instagram, X. I don't stream on Twitch. If you're watching this on Twitch, I don't stream here anymore. Go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/JulesTheHuman. I post 2 videos a week, and also I stream 2 times. And then also we have memberships on YouTube. You can use the same emotes and stuff that I used to have on Twitch. You can use it on YouTube now, and you can post them on any of my shorts, any of my videos, any of my lives. And you also get an extra video a week. I post a bunch of videos on YouTube for members only and there's about a week every time. When you're not here, perhaps you have been erased. Maybe you only exist when you're here. True. When we're not here, we are erased out of the. Oh, we should just get a
Out in the
picture
intro.
of our backgrounds without us because it will be the same as Satoru. I can't believe you missed it. It was so cool.
Ask me if I want to skip intro.
It's literally the
Yes.
show erased. He literally got erased.
You got erased?
It was crazy. But find me on YouTube, and I do a bunch of stuff on the internet and all that. So yeah, Sarazanmai, episode 1 through 4 next week. We're gonna watch it. Hopefully, you watch along with us. Give us your thoughts. Give us your thoughts in the Discord, and let us know. Take care about the see Claire. Bye, everybody watching live. Go check it out. Go check out the anime, and then we'll see you next week.
Oh, dude, that's what. Sorry, yeah. Cut the music. Cut the music.
What?
That's
I
what
don't
I
have a
was
record
gonna
scratch.
say too. In the last few episodes, the way Satoru was like saying goodbye, it started hitting every time.
What do you mean? He was saying goodbye.
Like every time he and his friends in the last few episodes, every time when they were kids, they were leaving. One of them said, like, one of them even comments are like, Satoru keeps saying bye, like he's never gonna see us again. Like just very earnestly, like just he's waving with like both hands, saying it like 5 times. Like that was icing.
Bro, his fucking face.
That was icing.
His fucking face every time, especially in the intro. It's like in a bunch of scenes. Him as a kid and him and as an adult, he has the same fucking face. He's like, he's walking around like that. It's
that's
funny.
Me every time.
It's so good.
Just
bye, Satoru wave. All right, that's the end. Sarazanmai next week, episode 1 through 4. Watch it, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.